everyone, and welcome to the official launch of the Girlz Planete Teenage Pregnancy by Eunice Naffie Mustapha. And today we're going to talk all about this book, what's in this book, and everything you need to know about our girls. In today's discussion of the launch of Girlz Planete by Naffie Mustapha, I have amazing people with me who are my guests. I have Hawasamai. Hawasamai is the executive director of Amnet. Afternoon, and welcome to the official launch of Girlz Planete. It's a pleasure having you. And also, I have my lady, our author and our writer. She is Naffie Mustapha. Hi.
Hi. Thank you.
Simply because of our
what happens in the garden world, looking at our discussions, looking at our interactions, and the like.
So meaning it's the realities of life.
Yes.
What girls experience,
Yes.
what they go through, what they feel, and how
yes,
they talk
some
about
people
it.
might say, oh, the girls in the book are too young for such experiences, but it's life.
Realities of life indeed. Okay. So I have also an advocate. She's been working with girls for God knows how long. 17 years. Can you imagine? Over a decade. That's a long time. Now, Madam, how was it? I'm sure Madam will. Yes.
Maybe I've done it in another fashion. Comparing what she's written to what we experience in our days.
Okay.
Yeah, it could have been completely. There are some similarities, but it could have been a bit different.
So when you say it could have been a bit different, what do you actually mean?
I'm not telling you what you ask my. Yes, just now I'm old enough.
Okay.
Okay, and but we're still living in the garden. Yeah, because you know when you can youthful, you always stay youthful. Yes, and trust me, you wouldn't look at me and tell my age. I'm better than that. Okay, now in our days when we were going to school, firstly, parenting is not just about your mom and dad. It's a community thing. The whole community looks after you. That doesn't mean that the guys do not try their thing. It's normal. That's the similarity. It's normal for teenagers to do their teenage things. They could try. But one of the things about them, even with the boys, they were scared of sex. In our days, they will talk about kissing you. They will talk about hugs, right? But the word sex itself, when a boy mentions sex, it means that's a wayward boy, right? You tie it to the family, you tie it to the people that person might be interacting, and the next thing you will cut off that boy because it means you're not on the same line. We also have things like slum book. How many of you have heard about slum books? Yeah, you see, I'm so old. Right. We have things like slum books in our days, and these books that you write about yourself, the color you like. It's more like our own Facebook in those days, right? You yes. You see somebody's you say who's your best friend, if you have a boyfriend, you could indicate that you have a boyfriend. Have you ever had sex with them? If we see yes,
It was strange.
it was strange. In fact, people will start calling you up as a friend because that person already has started having sex. That's not the kind of friend you want to associate yourself with. So there were limitations in terms of relationship, in terms of the people you associate with, friendship, even the homes that you go to. There are certain criteria. If your parents find out that these are some of what's happening in that home, you will never be seen in that home, right? And we also, there were limitations as well. Now we have the culture where we are encouraging our kids to have a conversation with us. Yes, not just sex, but everything, right? But in those days, we only report if somebody maybe tried to touch you, but we don't have proper conversation with sex. But there's a plus as well. During our school days, we have what we had at school called FLE, Family Life Education. You see, people are looking at me strange. Yes, Family Life Education. That was our sex education in
said, what things should we mention? I was kind of wondering, and I'm sure my audience, including our viewers, would want to ask. The changes that we have today, with all what we're seeing, taking into consideration technologies, the way our girls act, the way things happen, is it a plus or a minus? Is it that there's a need for us to go back to the days where we should have all what you had, taking into consideration your books, you write about yourself, being very naive about what's happening in the outside world, not being too exposed to know about sex at an early age. All of those things you think should be happening now, or we should just look at the transformation that we already have and see how we can educate our girls the more.
If we could look at this, I would say firstly, it's mission impossible. We cannot go back. The world is advancing, and we'll keep advancing on the hour, not just by day. Right? Now, I could tell you that my 10-year-old kid knows the internet better than I do, and that's the fact. She asked me a question, Mommy, what does the label do? And yes, I was a science student, but I have limitations, and I was trying to give her my own. And I said, okay, wait, so I'll get back to you soon. And the next thing she was reading and was telling me exactly what the label. She had already gone to Google, and the next thing was doing videos on YouTube and telling me all sort of things that I didn't know myself, right? So I was learning from a 10-year-old. Now, we were not that exposed in those days, and I can't say exposure is not good. Like the book says, like she said in the book, she keeps saying that over and over because I read this book in less than an hour, right? But I'm still not done with it. Because what I plan doing is having sessions with girls where we could read like 2 chapters every day. I'm going to and discuss. That would give me better feedback on this book, right? Now, if we are to go back, we'll miss a lot. As I said, the world is advancing on the app. But what do we do about what's going on? We need to explain, like I always tell my 10-year-old, with the internet, there's always the good side and the bad side. And most of the time, we don't discuss the pros and the cons of the internet. We just tell our kids it's bad. What's bad about it? It's good. What's good about it? We need to ensure that people understand what's good about it and what's bad about it. And this was what I proved to her, a 10-year-old. She was searching for something, and I said, okay, fine, this is what you found out. Let me show you something that I know that's still on the internet that you haven't seen. And I went there and I did the same research on what she researched her, and I showed her what she did not see. And she saw the negative side of it. And I said, this is what you would not know if I hadn't shown you. It means you have to dig deeper for you to see. And most of the time when you Google, the first things that pop up are the favorable things. The worst or the side effects would not pop up. So how do we let our kids, our girls understand this? How do we communicate? Because we've lost that. We've lost the touch of family, community. We've lost it. We're losing it slowly. As she wrote in her book, we're always busy. I'm here right now, right? Exactly. And she's a girl, she's 10, she's somewhere else, right? And we stay alone, just the 2 of us. The next thing we should start thinking about when she's sick. She hasn't called me. Is she okay? Do we check on them that regularly to make sure? Have we taught them the good thing that I'm in this field? So at 4 years, I taught her good touch and bad touch. Right? So these are some of the things, thanks to the new minister, she's trying to bring some of the things back to school. Right? So by 4, in the States, in America, 5, they teach them good touch and bad touch. That day you will have police flooding in schools. When they're teaching good touch and bad touch, they would have reported to the police that they will be doing that part of the curriculum. And when kids say, somebody in my household touched me at this I will not tell you, I'll give you an example, I will not tell you what the funds was meant for. I was invited to Ghana for a meeting. I didn't know who invited me, I was curious, but it falls within our strategic plan of our organization. I went there at a lunchtime. 2 people said, we invited you specifically because we did a background check on your organization. We've been talking with different people in your country, and we want you to do this for us. I'm not telling specifically like what you went. We want you to do this for us. We have $2 million, and all we want you to do anything you want in line with what we're asking you to do for a period of 1 year, and you report, and that's just peanuts of what we'll be supporting you with. How very tempting. Sure was, it's tempting, right? And I looked at them and I said, this is so tempting. That's what I told them. I said, that's my answer is no. I'm not going down that route. They could not believe it. They said, okay, sleep over it. Remember, we're here for the next 5 days. And every day they would keep asking me until the evening we were leaving. They invited me to dinner. And I came back to my office and I told them what happened, and they were like, why you take this money? And I said, integrity counts. Yeah. Right? I said, the money could be there, but integrity counts. Honestly, I'm not going to do that teacher. I'm not going to do it. So, what we need to stand up for, if we know our context, and we know what we need in Sierra Leone, we need as implementing partners to our donors, we need to stand up for the truth and speak our minds, speak the heart of the problem. And one of the critical problems with this is systems. Systems where you cannot take it away from the community. So it's integrating our cultural system and our value with what's happening in the Western world. We cannot divorce it now. So how do we blend it? How do we make sure we protect not just our girls, but our boys as well? Because if we keep protecting our girls and leaving our boys, we'll keep going in circles. We will not go anywhere. We need to protect both our girls and our boys. Educate them likewise so they understand. Where in our days, our boys were equally educated on the issues like our girls. That's why they will not talk about sex. Because a boy impregnating a girl at that time, you know your parents, they will tell you your school fees, that's what they will take care of the girl. Right? So these are some of the issues that we need to
Thank you so much. I mean, from all what you said, it seems to see there are lots and lots of issues.
a lot of work.
Part of what Naffie has written in this book, but there are lots of things we need to focus on as a country. This is the official launch of Girlz Planete, Teenage Pregnancy by Eunice Mustapha, Eunice. Well, we want to just applaud and say hooray to our sponsors who made this event a success for us. And 3 Wise Men Services, Madam Fatou Yunkela of Derlan, Dr. Kaifala Mara, Madam Marcella Sambasise of Campaign for Good Governance, www.safe2choose.org, www.findmymethod.org, Madam Asma James of Girls Plus and Asma James Foundation, Sori Sengbe Mara Esquire, Deloris Limited, and Nafisa Magazine, Dems Design, Multimedia Plus, Kids Advocacy Network, and a big thanks to our publishers, Amazon and CLC Bookshop. Many thanks to you all for making this a very big success. God bless you. At this point, we just want to invite one of our poets for today's magazine launch, and after which we'll continue the rest of our discussion. We want to continue hearing from our writer.
I'm a writer, a poet, a performer, and today I'm going to be doing a poem called My Pikin. It's in Creole. So here goes. Something them, I can feel like socks with boss, like kites with cut, like dream with bad, like news with the prelat. I can afraid the dark. Where better take light. I can catch you on my bedside lamp. They pray for me can come back. They say no for talk. They say for set me mouth. They say for sit down, for beer, for maintain, for lay down. They say na so it don't always be. So who that me fit here be? Titi for myself, sit down for myself. For what and why? I can tell and say me. Now my mama and picking. Mende titi tigi. You bust me socks, I go patch am. You cut me kite, I go catch am. You broke me hat, I go fix am. And you hot me lamp, I go light am. Me, na my mind picking. Mende titi tigi, one word, I know why. Thank you.
Such an amazing poem it was. Many thanks to Adeola Kiru. So we continue with the rest of our discussion as this is the Girlz Planete Teenage Pregnancy Book Launch by Eunice Naffie Mustapha. And at this juncture, we're going to talk about what's in this book, what Eunice has written about. Now, this book is about teenage pregnancy. Why specifically focus on teenage pregnancy?
Well, teenage pregnancy is a vice affecting young girls in Sierra Leone. According to UNICEF report in 2015, 3 out of every 10 teenage girls in Sierra Leone are pregnant. So, as a young lady, I saw that teenage pregnancy was a very important vice, and it's still a very important vice. So just imagine, out of every 10 girls, 3 are pregnant, and girls are part of Sierra Leone's future, and we are to take part in the development of the country. If we are to take part in the development of the country, we have to ensure that the vices serving as hobbies have to be overcome. And as a young lady with writing skills, it is my responsibility to ensure that I take part in containing the vices affecting the country.
As you go about writing this book, do you have any interaction with girls who are pregnant or who were pregnant?
Oh, yes,
So
yes.
what was the discussion they had with you? I mean, how they felt, the causes, and how it affected their lives, their schooling. What were the
No,
things
with
that they
regards
discussed
to
with you?
personal conversation, there was none. But with regards open conversations, as we are in that deep here, because coming up all around me, there were issues of teenage pregnancy. Even back in school, there was an issue of teenage pregnancy.
I mean, someone you knew
Yeah,
was
back in school. And when I was in SSS 3, after I was given an orange birth, there was this rumor going about that during the Ebola holiday, I had been raped, I had gotten pregnant, and I had a child somewhere and the like. So even though at that point of my life, I knew that there were rumors and the rumors were fake, it just brought to light the plight that young girls are going through, or they are going through at that time after becoming pregnant. So just imagine that amount of stigma.
So why would someone think you were pregnant?
Oh, I was given a birth, and you know the time work in the life. People just make up stories.
I suppose the orange belt signifies excellence, brilliance, commitment to schoolwork. So you've been given the orange belt at a school like the animal. It means a lot.
Yeah.
You must be celebrated.
It meant a lot to me.
Yes. So it's kind of like, why would someone want to think that upon receiving the orange belt, the next thing that happened to you is that you got pregnant?
No, they said I got pregnant before receiving
Before
it.
receiving
Oh,
the orange belt.
why are they giving an orange bird to that girl that was pregnant during the
When you look pregnant,
pregnant? And when I asked, sometime later I asked them, I said, why were they saying that I was pregnant?
so it means girls
Yes.
actually know how pregnant.
No, they were
Oh,
like
look
during
like
the Ebola
I'm pregnant.
holiday. I always had on my profile photo a baby carrying a baby and the like.
Ah.
So if I have a baby on my profile photo, so does that mean that the baby belongs to me? They are saying, oh, Ebola holiday was wrong.
So, Nafi, looking at this critically, there are girls who have encountered teenage pregnancy.
Yeah.
So it means writing this book, personal experiences you might have seen and heard about. What are some of those factors?
Just like I stated in my book, peer pressure is one. Just imagine going to a school wherein everyone has a boyfriend in your class and you don't have a boyfriend. And at a particular stage in our life, even being a virgin is considered taboo. How can you be a virgin at a certain age? When being a virgin,
I know will have a different view to that. Because
yes.
during our own days, being a virgin is like you actually normal. And in fact, it makes you look special in society.
Yeah, like no one is a virgin. Yeah. So just imagine open conversations, everyone explaining their own stories, and a girl is the odd one. It's either you are different or you fall in line, and mostly girls fall in line. And what is so funny about these situations, those that usually talk do not actually do the things. Young girls just love explaining. They just love
gist.
Feeling big, acting big. So they will be explaining their gist and not actually what they will be doing. And you will think that it's actually what they are doing. And in the midst of trying to fall in line, you end up becoming led astray. It's just like people having their topics or their discussions, quote and unquote, and you can feel it.
So in all of this, who are we to blame?
It's the parents, it's the girls. If we are to play the blame game, we'll blame a lot of people. Why I said that we are to blame both parents to a certain extent, not all parents have relationships with their kids. Some parents, it's all about giving the kid giving the kid some food, giving the kid quality education, ensuring that the kid has various gadgets and the like. They think that parenting is limited to that. If the child does bad openly, the parents will correct the child and it ends there. But how many parents in Sierra Leone actually have close relationships with their kids? Looking at what Auntie Hawa was saying and listening to her comments about the conversations with her daughter, you'll observe that they have a close relationship. Yeah. How many parents have close relationships with their kids? When kids think of things, do they feel comfortable to reach out to their parents and ask them, "Oh mom, what is this? Oh dad, what is this? Oh mom, my friend said A, B, and C in school. Is it true or is it false?" If you fail to talk to your child, or if you fail to have certain discussions with your child, the school is there, they have their peers in school.
Alright, so did you take into consideration societal norms, our beliefs, our values, our religious beliefs? Were all those things captured in your book?
Well,
As some of the factors responsible for what girls encounter, one of which
all I did was to create scenes.
Okay.
In my chapter 6, I wrote about let's talk about sex. In chapter 6, you will see Miriam asking her mom about sex.
Is it normal to talk about sex?
It's not normal. And right in the book, Miriam's mom got very angry, asking her why she was asking about sex. If that was the topic Miriam's friends were now discussing. And I also presented a situation wherein Miriam wanted to inquire about contraceptives, but she was very, very scared that if she goes to inquire at a particular pharmacy, the entire community will know.
Now, you're an activist. You've been into this for quite a long time, and you're extremely passionate, taking into consideration the restrictions parents have in talking about sex to their girls, and even their boys, because Hawasama here made mention including the boys in the conversation, because that's how it used to be back then. The boys were part of everything. We talk about it, and you can't even get a boy talking about sex or even having this kind of urge, because yes, it was a taboo. As an activist, do you think enough has been done in ensuring that we include all sectors into this fight against teenage pregnancy for the welfare and well-being of our girls, sectors including private
find a lot of things very, very boring. But if you have an interesting book that is also educative, you'll be reading the book and learning lessons without actually knowing that you're learning lessons. That's the approach that I took. For them to read something very interesting and educative at the same time.
Yeah. So it's very important. Now we want to turn the mic to our audience because it's very important that every girl has this. If we're to change the narratives, if we're to get the discussion moving to another level and not just having conferences where we go and in Creole say we eat plenty, we build food, we take transport, we go and we host, and we come back and we even take the polo and the t-shirts and the this, that, and just turn and pieces. Oh, yeah. And the next thing we think about, all of us just forget it ever happened. So, in changing the narratives, it's a collective effort. All of us has part of it. We have to ensure this book reaches each and every girl in Sierra Leone. Yes, and the parents, yeah, all of us. So, before we give an opportunity to our audience to make contributions, we want to just begin. This is money time. This is my favorite part. Not to talk about money, right? So, now the book is up. Let me stand up. I'm sitting down, things will not move fast. Yes, guys. You see?
The girl said.
Men want to go to the back. Men want to go to the back now.
Initially, the guys want to take the front seat, as always.
Yes.
As I like
Yes.
now it's money time. They want to go to the back. You know, you sit there.
I just reminded you that the girl said.
Guys, see, no amount is too small to pay for this. Remember, you can give us your contact. Should we do what we call
70,000.
Oh my goodness. I need someone to take me to that. I can. You can. I know.
Money matters.
70,000. So we'll collect your contacts and give you your address.
Don't worry,
No, don't worry. She'll not
my
call
house
you.
doesn't have an address.
Hey guys.
Okay, since I'm about to leave, I'll do $100.
Oh my God! Thank you so much. This is huge. Yes, guys. See, each and every one of you sitting here today need to get one of this. You have to buy it for someone. You have to help us. It's not just about buying the book or getting the book. It's about spreading the message. It's about spreading. Okay, guys. Now we'll just take another poem.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mrs. Danielle Bokari. I'm known as Fire. So I wrote another poem before coming here, but I came here and I was inspired to do this. So I hope you enjoy. Titled The Weight. The weight. Hungry lips I cannot resist, so I let him touch me. His hands all over me, telling me how much he loved me. This is love, I thought. This is what I want, so I believed him. Without thinking, I let him inside me. 3 months without my period. 3 months he hasn't been calling. 3 months I tested positive for HIV. He had left me alone. Mommy doesn't want me. Society has neglected me. I'm at fault. Had I waited, had I asked him to wait, this should have been different. Maybe not candlelight or scented roses, but I wouldn't be on the street at 15. I should have waited for 18, waited till I could fend for myself. Too bad I didn't wait, but you could. Other girls, you can wait. You can wait until you're 18. You can wait, not for the right man, not for the right time, but when you're sure. When you're sure you cannot have HIV, or when you're sure that even if you're pregnant, you can feed yourself and the baby. You
then you can wait. Waiting is beautiful. Thank you. I think we have to do that.
Thank you so much, sir. And so you don't have any contributions to make. Actually, you have a platform, please. So you can just say what else.
Yeah, I think I was just going to say that I'm not a girl child expert, but I do a lot of work, advocacy, practicing law, I do activism. You know, she mentioned about vices. I think we have a social crisis now. Sexual violence. It's all over the place. And it's good to blame girls, good to blame ladies. But then the abominable acts that we hear about on a daily basis, 5 years old, 10, 2 months, 3 months, those are simply despicable. So I was just going to ask Naffie whether any attention was turned to those despicable acts that we experience as a nation and as a society. Because it's good to blame the bad girls. But then many times we have seen in recent times, even good girls are being violated. Yeah. So it's good to say, oh, these vices, you were not a good girl, that's why you became pregnant. But they are increasingly. Khadija Sanko was, by every stretch of the imagination, a good girl. She was absolutely innocent. You know, and that name was wrought on her. So I don't know whether any spotlight was turned on those social abomination that we
Chapter 7 is called No Heaven.
Okay.
Yeah,
so there's not heaven for those guys who...
No, like when you look at society or when you look at homes, you expect girls to be safe. So if girls are not safe in environments where they're expected to be safe, so it's not heaven.
Really?
That's why I chose that particular title for that particular chapter. It deals with sexual assault and the like. I even brought to light situations where girls go to fetch water and in return for fetching the water on time, they are being exploited. Yeah. So I brought to light various cases of sexual assault in chapter 7.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm sure we've learned a lot. So you guys need to buy this book. So yes. Please bring money.
Yeah, on behalf of Kids Advocacy Network.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you. Please, that's a round of applause.
Okay, for athletes, we also donate 1 million plus all the areas that we're working. We will ensure we add this book to our project. So we distribute.
Guys, it's going. This is seems as if we're talking like millions. We're talking like millions.
Alright, this is Sivano Sabu, representative from 3 Wise Men Services. Well, as we were talking, I was busy punching my phone. I need to communicate with Wise Men. You know, I don't want to say much, but like what I got from them, they said I should donate 2 million euros.
Yes, ladies, we're going. Listen, this will put us this is not a level makeup. This will forget that was this. So, please, let's go. It's going. Doctors, don't joke. Thank you. Oh my God, thank you. Hey guys, going. They check me money, eh? Check out. Guys, we're going. Yay!
And again, we will not name a specific amount.
influential.
Yes.
We will ensure, again, we have 250 most influential for 2019. So we'll try to ensure and talk to them so that most of them will come on board and buy the books, like in a bulk way. So we'll not tell a particular amount.
We don't joke.
So I don't know. Let's hear the answer. Let's hear the.
Guys, we are going. Thank you. That's us. That's us. Yes. Really forget that one was outside. Yes, guys. Where are we? Hello.
This is so beautiful. I'm so impressed. I'm highly impressed. If it were in the movies, I would have cried.
But you don't want to ruin your makeup.
I'll cry another day. Thank you, Naffie. Guys, we're going. No amount is actually too small. And we'll deliver the book to you upon receiving our cash. Just go to your location. Delivery cost is involved.
Delivery cost.
Yes.
No, don't worry. When we're ordering books, we'll work.
Okay.
We'll work out the deliveries.
I trust you. Guys. Okay, so whilst we're still waiting for you to pay, you know, as people want to give us bigger money, it takes them time to calculate the kind of money that they want to unleash. So whilst we're waiting, we just want to listen from you, our audience, on all what we've discussed here today, what you have to say, what's your own contribution. Because this is a discussion that's going to be ongoing. We'll be having things of such to keep discussing about this book. We just don't want this book to be in our shelves. As if Naffie has written a book, someone bought the book and just... We have seen all of those things in this country. People just buy a book and just archive the books. They don't read, they don't touch, but they'll just be part of our list that they brought the book. We want this to be a different situation. If you have a girl child at home, every day, just take a section of this or just a chapter and read and you discuss. You help your girls, you help your sisters, you help your friends, you help your neighbors, and also even our parents. So we just want to hear from you. You have contributions to make, you have things to say, you want to give a round of applause to Naffie for a work well done. Please guys, feel free, yes.
I have to say a big congratulations to Naffie because it's not easy to write at this age. The distractions, there are so many of them there. As a young person, I went to books to seek answers. Unfortunately, some of these books we are not in the context of Sierra Leone. We are mostly written by Europeans or Americans, and some say I became Europeanized by those books. So it's a fortunate thing that other girls coming up now will have this Girlz Planete to turn to because we didn't have that back in our days. Of course, I use questions young people ask. It was made for Americans and Europeans. So thank you, Naffie, on behalf of every girl out here, every girl that is coming for this work done because it's going to be a great help. I know that.
Thank you so much. Yes, guys, please.
I want to know some of the challenges you faced when writing the book and how you overcame them.
So we'll come to that. Let's just hear.
Yeah, well, on behalf of the wise men, I want to say congratulations to Madam Mustapha for such a brilliant work. It is not an easy task really, especially on a difficult situation in the whole world as of this time now. And the fact that if you are a researcher, you want to solve problems, first thing you need to know if there is a problem. If the problem exists, then maybe you will then find a way now to solve the problem. For the fact that we know this is a problem affecting not only Sierra Leone but almost 90% of developing countries in the entire world. If you take a look at fact sheet statistic last year, they said 770,000 of girls, in fact less than 15 years, are getting pregnant in a year. Then 12 million of their fact sheets again said from age 10 to 19 are getting pregnant. And if you carefully take a look at that particular statistic. Take a look at those who are not going to survive it. All of the fingers we are pointing at what developing nations. So the first thing we need to ask ourselves, why is it that we are getting the worst when it comes to almost every problem developing nations? Why? But as far as I'm concerned, to my own thinking, when it comes to teenage pregnancy, is because we have several reasons, and we can just name probably a few. But for every single girl, they have their own reason. Now, if we can consider again, some will say it's because of poverty, the poverty rate. Even technology again, irrespective of the advantages the technology has, we still have disadvantages. Like my mommy here was saying, we actually need proper sensitization. We now know that this problem is existing, but we really need to guide our kids, guide our younger sisters. Let's tell them what is the problem, then how to solve this problem. I believe will be there, irrespective of the technology. No matter how things are getting destroyed, we can still restore them if only we have the way we say, look, let's take a look at this. This was the way this problem came about, so we can solve it by this other means. So I believe that's my take.
Alright, thank you so much.
Very much, Naffie, congratulations. And Girlz Planete teenage pregnancy, I think it's not just about girls, boys also be a part of this. When Naffie was talking, she mentioned she went to public schools and both on private school. I can barely remember, I think I went through the same end. When I was in private school, we were about 13 in the class, only 3 of us were boys, and 10 of them were girls. I can barely remember, most times they have to talk about their men, those funny stuff, and we'll just sit at the back laughing at them. So the experience she had, I had some of those experiences, but in a different way, because I'm a boy and I wasn't part of the conversation many times. And also again, the issue of teenage pregnancy is a very serious issue. We have about 2 million girls going to school, and apparently we're expecting most of them to be teenagers as school-going people in this country. And about 20 to 25%, most of them have pregnancy at the age of 12 to 17. Most of them got pregnancy, and most of them happen to give birth when they have pregnancy. Some of them abort those pregnancy. So I think the question we should be asking ourselves, let's forget about the book, is how we can try to see and resolve some of those teenage pregnancy that occurred years back, and how we can try to see and minimize them in the future, and also to see how this book can transform the lives of girls, not only girls, and how this book can transform the lives of all the boys, the perpetrators themselves. Because if we are talking about girls, forgetting that the boys, we boys themselves, we are the ones that are causing this teenage pregnancy, then there's a problem. And another advice again I want to give to Naffie, if it is possible for you to talk to the Ministry of Education or talk to schools you can reach out to for them to incorporate this book in their school curriculum, even if not in the school curriculum, within the school levels, so people in the school can buy these books, and even parents can buy the books. At the end of the day, they can learn from it as well.
I think that's brilliant.
I want to say congratulations for this book. I really glad the way you put some for me. More like me. Yeah, I can't 20. I really need this book for me to read more. And I want to ask a question. Like, you the girl begin. Man say you didn't into a relationship, but you try for avoid sex. But this boy, the people boy for super. These are the best advice I make me.
You know, like we read Joyce of Motherhood and Junior Achebe and all this. We need to have, yes, we need to have.
You introduced this book to UNFA and the ministry. So the ministry and UNFA currently are working on getting sexual education, sex education back to school. It's like the FLE, which we use in nowadays. That's family life education, and I'm sure they'll be looking for books like this. And their curriculum starts from I think 4th grade or something, class 4, right? That's where, or 4 years of age, something around that, to secondary school. So maybe this could be used for high school, right? And I think if they could get this as part of their curriculum, then it's never ending sales from you. And it could also, it's the same around Africa. So this is also a platform that we could also use to market to Ghana, Nigeria. If we've been using their book, so Mama Ba, so long Alexa, all these books, whatever. So we should be able to market your book to their country.
Yes, let them buy
but Sierra Leone need to start it.
Yes.
And then we should be able to market it to WAEC. If it's an exam that WAEC would be, if it's part of WAEC curriculum. If it's not part of WAEC curriculum, it's just our educational system. And if it's proven, right, it's easy to market it around, okay, I'll talk to somebody, in fact, at ECOWAS, right, so that they will start discussing it at
Well, this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about.
So we should start promoting ourselves as Africans.
Yes.
We need to have this, like, we have used theirs. They should use ours now. Use so long the letter to ours since God knows what.
Exactly. Exactly, and we're still buying it. That woman is still receiving
Or if not, we stop buying theirs.
Yes, our girls, this is for you.
Talk about challenges that I faced. In every venture, there are challenges. And when I was writing Girlz Planete, I had these challenges. It would surprise a lot of people to know that I actually wrote this in 2018. Yeah. At that time, I was 20 when I wrote this book. One of the challenges had to do with myself, and it had to do with procrastination. I knew that I wanted to write this story, but I went on and on about when I should write it. Then one day I woke up and I was like, if you're passionate about something, you have to be serious about it. And I prepared my timeline and I wrote the book. The other challenge was prioritizing it, because as a student, you have to think about studies and life, writing and balancing it with studies. So I had to prepare a daily to-do list, allocating time to writing the book. I didn't just want to present any other story. I wanted it to be interesting and very educative, so I took my time to put words together. After writing the story, I thought that was it. The next problem was to find an editor. Yeah. I reached out to a lot of people that I knew that could write, but most of them were lazy. And I won't blame them, because looking at life, everyone has their schedule, and it's quite difficult to place another person's priority into yours. So, Mr. Mohammed Sharif of Sierra Leone Club couldn't edit my book, but he went extra miles to get me an editor. The editor that edited this book is someone that I didn't know before she edited my book. When Mr. Mohammed Sharif introduced me to her, and I told her that I needed an editor, she was so excited to edit the book, just like that. And it's not like I was paying her. She was just so super excited that a young girl had written a book, and she took her time and edited the book. Okay, I now had an edited copy. What's next? Publishing. How could I publish? It was so difficult. I thought about various ways to publish. I went to Google and I was always googling, how can I publish? How can I publish? And I got in touch with a publisher last year. And the publisher informed me that at first I needed about converting from dollars to Sierra Leone money at that time, about 18 million. And I told the publisher that I didn't have 18 million. And it was reduced to about 9 million. So I paid the first installment. Okay, I couldn't even pay the first installment. I had to lend money to pay the first installment, which was about $245. According to the agreement, if I didn't pay the balance, I would forfeit everything. And that was exactly what happened. I forfeited everything. After that experience, I was like, oh, would I publish my book? Was it even possible to publish a book in Sierra Leone? Sometime this year, I joined a particular Facebook group for female entrepreneurs. Regina Clarkson invited me to
join the group, and I did. So just those random posts in the group, someone posted, if you had the opportunity, what would you do? I saw the post, I could have ignored. It was just for fun. I went and commented, published a book. And a strange white lady from nowhere commented again, oh, you can publish on Kindle. And I was like, what is Kindle? Because I was joking when I went to comment. And she explained to me right on Facebook, a total stranger. And I went to Google, then I searched for Kindle, created a Kindle account, contacted my elder sister that I needed her bank account to be attached to the Kindle account. And I published my book just like that. After publishing the book, I was just, oh, I have published a Kindle version of my book. And I was so content with that. And Sierra Leoneans tried purchasing the book from Kindle, and they couldn't. It wasn't available. I didn't have plans of publishing in Sierra Leone, having a book launch. I thought that people could access the book. Then they started asking me, how can I get access to the book? How can I get access to the book? And I was like, oh, it was so unwise to publish a book that people here couldn't get access to. And I then realized that not everyone had strong internet able to go and read book online. And I started thinking, how can I publish this book in Sierra Leone? Since 2020 started, I have been all around the place marketing for people, saving money. I was just saving for the sake of saving. And I said to myself, instead of saving just for the sake of saving, how about investing? You always read about people investing their savings. Then I took that savings and I started inquiring about how I could publish in Sierra Leone. The same Mr. Sheriff of Pen Club told me about CLC. I went to CLC and I inquired about how I could print my book, and they told me about what I needed. And I told them that I didn't have enough money and they reduced the sum. I went to my bank account, all the marketing and hustling money I took the money and went to CLC bookshop and informed them that they should print my book. Then I started marketing that the book will be available soon. Just a random person in our class asked me, Nancy, what about the launching? And I was like, oh, don't you know that there is corona? And he was like, you should find a way. Then I started thinking, how can I have a launching that a lot of people will be able to participate in, looking at safety precautions in Sierra Leone. Then it clicked. You can have a launch with just few people. Then you can publicize the launch on social media. Everyone can have access to it. Then I started making plans and I started reaching out to people. We are very supportive and we are here today.
We're here.
Every challenge came a solution. And above all, God was the one that was directing me, because that amount of wisdom to be solving each and every problem